Welcome back to the Weekly Watch Report, where we talk about the things we watched this week. Weekly Watch Report on Monday. 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 All right, let's talk about the things we watched this week. I watched a new show on Peacock called Love Undercover.
I've been wanting to press play on that.
And it is about...
I love the concept.
It's about star football players, soccer players.
Football?
The soccer players that are famous in other countries that are going undercover to find love because they think that people just want to date them because they're famous soccer players.
Mm-hmm.
Have millions of followers, lots of money, Rolexes, the whole thing. And they want to find girls that don't want that. Although they cast girls who are very into people with money.
Yeah.
So, there's girls on the show that are like...
But that's got to be the point, right? Like to throw...
and they care about jobs and they care about money.
Yeah, exactly.
And
because then you get to see their true colors because they get to be obnoxious.
Right.
Because they think these guys are like plumbers and then they...
Yeah. So I'm 2 episodes in, or maybe 3. It's like I'm not loving it, but I'm not turning it off because I like... The first reveal, I got to the first reveal of, because they go on more. Like, it's not, like, over. Like
How are they undercover? Like, do they wear a disguise?
No. Like, they literally just don't know who they are because the girls are from America and they're from a different country. But kind of bold to assume they wouldn't know who they are because one of the guys, like, is very, like, his, I forget his last name, but like I was like, oh, I've seen him before.
But like, would you really?
But
you
like,
know,
I guess
would you know?
In that context, like you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
But now that I know.
I also don't think like if it
Yes.
was somebody that was telling you he gave you you're meeting him on a dating show and he's giving you a totally like maybe you're like, oh, this guy kind of looks familiar, but you're probably not like
right. This is him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And some of the girls like talk about like how they like soccer, so that was interesting. And the first group, like, I mean, I don't want to give like too many away, but like it's not just one group of girls. Like they date multiple groups of girls. So like the first group, the first uncovering I saw wasn't very like pow.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like, oh my God. Like one girl was like kind of mad and then the other girl was like laughing. Like it wasn't like this big reveal.
Right. Because it's tough because they are obviously well known and like they're known in their respective sports and maybe in their respective countries, but they're not like in some crazy disguise and they're mega famous.
Yeah.
And like they're in like movie prosthetics and stuff.
Yeah.
And they take them off and
then it's Justin
and they're
Bieber.
like, holy fuck, like it's Neymar. Like
yeah,
like,
right.
Like it's like
and one of the girls, like her crush was Neymar. Like who's your celebrity crush? And hers was Neymar. And like one of the guys has like so many pictures with him because like whatever.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a big reveal.
Right,
so I'm not like I'm giving it like a C-.
Okay.
Maybe a D.
Ugh.
Like I'm not like totally loving it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I watched like I can't remember if I watched the 3rd episode, but I definitely watched the first 2. But I think maybe I watched the 3rd. Kardashians. Mm-hmm. I'm all caught up. First 3 episodes.
First 3 episodes are out. I watched the first 2. I think.
First 3. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, it feels like there's not crazy drama happening, so it's really just family dynamics.
It's just an easy watch. I'm enjoying it. I'll give it a B. I'll give Kardashians a B. Easy, solid watch. I like to know what they're up to. I put on the first episode of Perfect Match. I hate this show.
I'm pumped to watch Perfect Match. I love this show.
Really?
I loved the first. I mean, I haven't watched the second season. I love the first season.
The same thing happened with me with the first one.
Yeah.
Where I went to watch it, turned it on, said, I don't like this show. I'm turning it off. Tried again with this one.
Same thing.
Same thing. Like, I think for me, there's nothing at the end of this. It's like, oh, the winners will go on like an all expenses vacation.
Yeah.
It's like, there's no money.
Right.
There's no like when, like, it's like, I'm like, what is the point of this show? You know, like
It also is tough because it was filmed so long ago.
that was another thing. It's like, I know how this ends up.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
so that was another thing. I'll also give Perfect Match a C-, which I know is like, a lot of people love this show. I know that's like a not common opinion. But there's something missing for me in that show.
Well, yeah, it's because there's not a single genuine person on it.
No, there's nothing like enticing me. Like, I know they're
There's
all
no-
there for fame.
Yeah, like there's no belief. Granted, I have not watched the second season, but from what I watched on the first season, there's no like genuine love connections being made.
No, they all
to stay on the
just want to
show.
be famous.
Yeah.
And like I said, you know that because there's no
It's really
there's
it's
no
very,
prize.
Yeah, it's
They're
very
literally
transparent.
like, oh, here you go on vacation.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
cool.
Yep.
Summer House reunion, which we've kind of talked about, I think, a little bit.
No,
Which no, I guess maybe we
we didn't talk about it at all. It aired Thursday night.
Right.
I mean, we talked. Paige kind of alluded to some of
Yes.
it, but we had not seen it.
We hadn't seen it. Right. Summer House reunion. It's like, I don't know how many times we could say the same thing. Thank God Carl and Lindsay didn't get married.
Yeah.
Thank God they didn't get married.
Yep.
I think the main part of this was the West and Ciara dynamic,
Yep.
which I think everyone was disappointed to see how West ended up in this reunion.
Yep.
And I just got to give props to Ciara because I felt like instead of succumbing to the pressure of society at times, she kind of held her own and was like, listen, I don't give myself up very easily, which I think I'm like so proud of her for like holding her own and like saying how she feels, because I feel like it's easy to like I said, like succumb to the pressure of society, and like Ciara could act like she doesn't care and she whatever, but like she does care, and I think it's cool of her. Like I think her like standing up for herself and acknowledging all of that, and she honestly looked very sad. Like I just felt bad for her because she did reveal that they did end up sleeping together.
Yeah. I think
And
her
then-
worst fears came true. So I think she was sad about it again. I think she
Right.
felt like potentially used again.
Right. It's like they ended up sleeping together in the fall, and then what happened? It ended.
Yeah.
Or he ended it because his reasoning was so far out there.
Yeah, I mean,
It
he
was like,
seems extremely immature still.
I feel like honestly, if he just said like him tossing it up to the Bravo audience being all women and like having these appearances and blah blah blah, like was such a cop out. If he got up there and said, "Hey, listen, after dating and getting to know each other and hanging out, I realized that maybe I didn't like you as much romantically as I maybe thought that I would." That happens.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're allowed to like.
yeah, but I don't even know if that was the case.
No, I know, but I'm saying.
Yeah.
That if that was the case, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. That is allowed. You're allowed to end up not liking somebody and then not wanting to pursue a romantic relationship further, right?
Yeah.
I feel like if he went more of that route, like, which maybe that's not how he feels. Maybe he really did like Ciara and he just ended it because of that.
He could
But
have
if
said that, and then Ciara could have been like, "Okay, well, you told me all this stuff."
Right,
Blah, blah,
exactly.
yeah.
But if he ended up realizing, oh, she's not the one for me, that's a little different. But it was all of the excuses, what he said, like about, it was such a cop out. And it was kind of like, okay, then why did you bring her to a wedding? Why did you bring her to your brother's house? Why did you meet the parents? Like all those things that you would think when you really like someone, you do.
And you think it's leading to something more serious.
And you definitely don't think it's just a talking situation when you're going to all those things. You're like, oh, this is serious.
Yeah.
Like meeting the parents, going to a wedding, you know, all these things. If I was Ciara, I'd also think that we were going to enter a relationship. So
I think at the end of the day, when he finally said, I was worried about just being known as Ciara's like man.
he said puppet.
Puppet, yeah. That was the reason. I think that like he like didn't want to reveal that, and he finally did. And I think that because at the core of that is his ego and him not like him going on a TV show and being so afraid of being known as just like, oh, Ciara's little boyfriend, instead of like cool, funny guy West, like that he was so insecure about that he couldn't let that be the truth.
Yeah, what an insecure man you have to be.
Yeah, it's incredibly insecure, and even like you tell, his parents were giving him shit for it. Like they were like, you're gonna look like an asshole. Like it's very clear that everybody else could see it, and it was like that was his worry, that he was gonna be on. Like that's your biggest worry, is you're gonna be on TV and be known as this stunningly gorgeous, beautiful woman's boyfriend. Like you should be so lucky. And that's kind of, what Paige was saying too. It's like he was so locked into the fame aspect of it, and being known as like, and sure, grant, whatever, you want to be known as your own guy, fine. But like you can do that also in a relationship. Like, and you don't, if they came off the show and said that they were in a relationship, nobody would have watched the season back when it aired and been like, oh, that's just Ciara's little boyfriend. Like that, we would have enjoyed the season just the same and would have been happier that it worked out.
Everybody watching enjoyed Wes separately from Ciara. They just were rooting for their relationship, but everyone was like talking about funny Wes. So it was like he was never seen as Ciara's puppet. So I mean,
like why would he have thought that after the show? When they were done filming, this was going into December, that they were still, together and so it's like, why at that point, the show, you've already filmed the show.
Right.
Everyone's going to see what they see. So now you're just worried about what people are going to say on Instagram? Like, very. And it's the same thing with saying like, oh, like if I go to events and like girls are talking to me, like whatever. Like it's like, what, dude? What are you talking about?
Right, and they were all like,
girls aren't just gonna come up and start making out with you at a lover boy party that you're at. Like
no, and I think everybody on the cast was like, this is not a good excuse for this group, and
no,
Jesse Solomon should have kept his mouth shut.
He tried. I appreciate him trying for his friend, but you're not helping anything.
No, not helping
anyone.
at all. Jesse Solomon had a good run, and it was like, right until that moment, you should have kept your mouth shut, because you can't defend this. Like whatever Wes was trying to say was just the wrong way to handle that whole situation.
Totally.
And I felt sorry for Ciara, because I felt like she really, literally her big, like, go through the fall, they sleep together, they're dating, and then all of a sudden it just, for the worst excuse imaginable. Like, it's not even like, because if it was like, I don't really see us being together, and, then that's different. Then she could be like, okay, he doesn't see us being together. Like, he's not the one. But when you're saying that it's for these reasons, it's like, this is the dumb, like, it's such a horrible cop-out.
It also makes me really sad for Ciara, because I think I think that keeps her in the headspace of like, well, shit, did he just want to sleep with me? Like this whole time? Like, did he have a goal?
Right.
And he worked his way up, like he got more and more serious so that he could get to that point. And then after that,
right,
it ends.
Could be the case. And if I was Ciara, I'd be thinking that way too.
Totally, I would be thinking the same way. So it was unfortunate. I mean, I loved Paige standing up for Ciara. Once again, Paige said exactly what we were all thinking.
Yeah.
When it comes to West, and I also think I saw people kind of having some thoughts for Ciara, saying like, oh, if he changed, like the door, I wouldn't. He'd have to really change for me to like rethink us working out, which is not like a crazy thing to say. I know people are like, why would you ever think about being with him again? Blah blah blah. It's like, that's hard. That's really tough. They're on a show together. They're doing all these things together. And if he did change and do all the things that she wanted him to do, maybe she would think about it. But Wes doesn't seem like he's making any adjustments for anybody. Yeah. Like, you're telling me if he's not gonna do it for Ciara, who's he gonna do it for?
He's certainly not gonna do it for somebody off the show.
Yeah,
they really won't understand with his whole narrative here.
Right. Exactly. But he did also cop to still sleeping with other girls like during the summer and all these things, which could have guessed. But,
right. Yeah. I mean, they weren't like.
Yeah.
He
obviously was just lying about it.
Right. Right. That was unfortunate. Like, he could have just told the truth about that.
Yep.
But not shocked that he didn't.
Yep. So he definitely got put in the hot seat and well deserved. Seeing like Ciara cry about it was so sad. Paige said she didn't want to cry going into this, and I feel like Ciara wants to put up such a strong front and not show that like vulnerability, especially in front of him. So that like that broke my heart a little bit. And I mean, even Kyle was crying.
I know.
I was crying a little bit, which I was like, what's going on here? But at the same time, like maybe it was just all very emotional in the moment.
It was emotional. I teared up watching it.
Yeah,
I felt so bad
I
for
know.
Ciara. I felt like I felt her emotion through the screen. So maybe that's how Kyle felt watching it. But also I was like, what?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like Kyle doesn't even like cry when it comes to Amanda sometimes.
Yeah.
So like, what's going on here?
Right.
Which is a whole other, I think we'll see that in the second part of the reunion. But good
Yeah.
reunion. I'll give it a B+. I thought it was solid.
Yeah.
And that's everything I watched.
I watched Kardashians as well, but I only watched episodes 1 and 2. I'll give that a C+. It's something I turn it on and I'm not even really paying that much attention, to be honest. Summer House, I'll give an A-. It was good. I thought it was good. And
Geek Girl?
Geek Girl. I watched all of Geek Girl per your recommendation. Adorable.
Yay.
Adorable show. I'll give it a B. It was cute. Loved the tails all the time.
Mm-hmm. Will they, won't they?
Also modeling in high school,
Mm-hmm.
just famous dreams, or just being a regular gal in high school, trying to do both, but you can't.
You just can't.
You just can't. Mean bullies in this
Really
show.
mean.
Really
frustrating to watch.
I know. I did not like that group.
When I watch shows and there's bullies in the show, I get so mad.
What was her name? Lexi?
Yeah.
Something in the Olives?
Yeah, it just was like, I get so mad as if it's happening in real life.
My favorite was, now I'm spacing on his name.
Wilbur?
The Wilbur, yes, Wilbur. Great character.
Great character.
I loved Wilbur because I also felt like, a show about the modeling world can be a little tough these days. I feel like people are very critical of that whole world and realm and everything. And he was like a good advocate for her. Like he had her back, which I liked.
Totally.
It was like nothing. They weren't all business people like the head lady.
You had the mean lady, but then you had the nice guy.
Exactly. Loved him. Nick, adorable.
Nick Park.
Super cute. They're just both geeks at heart. Really,
Yeah, really.
They're
That's what he loves about her.
Exactly. She's stunning.
Yeah, to fit the mold perfectly.
Yeah, totally. So it was very cute. I and also said easy watch. I think I watched it in a day and a half maybe. Yeah. They're like those quick 10 episode but 30 minutes. So I enjoyed it. I thought that was really cute. I caught up on Real Housewives of New Jersey, except for not last night's episode, because Sunday night Bravo's tough for me. I don't care what show is on Sunday night. I want it during the weeknights. I don't want Sunday night. I want a weeknight.
Agreed.
So I have yet to watch that one, but the last stuff I saw was the sit down, the bougie brunch.
Mm-hmm.
They have a problem. These women fucking hate each other.
I gotta catch up.
These women
I've watched
fucking
the first 3.
hate each other. Jennifer and Teresa, they hate Margaret. Margaret hates them. They're picking sides. Rachel hates her. There's just Melissa. There's just so much
hate
in the mix, and there really is. So they can't all be in the same room together.
No.
They can't all be in the same room together. You can't have a show where they can't have one meal without somebody storming off.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna be a problem. I will give New Jersey I'll give it a B-. We're in it's fine, but it can be kind of tough to watch because at some points you're just like, God, are they ever gonna start not screaming at each other? Or I don't know. So yeah. What else did I watch? I think that's pretty much everything. Kardashians. Oh, Love Island UK is back.
Yeah, it is.
I know that the first 2 episodes are on Hulu, I believe now. If you are like me who cannot wait, I'll watch on my laptop with a VPN. I know people will ask. I use ExpressVPN. I pay for it. I have the subscription.
Yeah.
I pay for an ITV membership so that I can go on to ITV on my Google Chrome and be on the VPN and load the new episodes when they come out. I'm up to, when did I leave? Friday. So Thursday's episode is as far as I've gone. I've not caught up on this weekend's, but if you're like watching on Hulu, kind of ish. I feel like Hulu is a little faster this season. It's only been 1 week, and those episodes are already out. Normally they're behind like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So that's great for the Hulu watchers out there. They always try and like start off the season with a bang, right? It's like an ex or somebody comes in. They brought in Joey Essex, who I know is a big deal. I don't know too much about him, but he's a big UK reality star. I saw a girl boss sound make a TikTok. She was like, I've not watched Joey Essex, but I know it's the equivalent of like Pauly D or like Scott Disick going on a reality dating show.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that I felt like that was a fair comparison. He's interesting because he's somebody who's obviously very famous already, so he knows like he gets girls whenever he wants and blah blah blah. But he's here for love and all these things. It's like, okay,
sure,
buddy.
Yeah.
Obviously, other girls are gonna freak out. There was one. He seems nice, but there was one moment, and this isn't like a spoiler. I've seen it on TikTok a bunch too. But it's fine. But there's one moment. There's one girl who's like she's a dancer. She does musical theater, like that stuff. They're off chatting, and he's like, come on, like do a little dance for me. And I was like, oh, I do not like that. I do not like that one bit. He's sitting in his chair. He's sitting back. Do a little dance for me, honey. I'm like, sweetheart. Whatever. And she did. And she's like, yeah, I'm like, this is so uncomfortable to watch. Another spin is the Hideaway is like open. Mm-hmm. So anybody can like just go in the Hideaway when they please. So there's been some chats happen in the Hideaway that are pissing people off. I'm excited. I'm excited for some. I'm not like fully in love with the original cast. I'm hoping that they bring in some new
That always
people.
happens though, I feel like.
I really like the new girl that they just brought in. She seems cool. Because the girls are very, like 4 of them are really similar to me. Mm-hmm. Just even like appearance wise, you know? They got to mix it up a little bit. Yeah. So I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm sure there's been some recouplings that I've missed that I'm excited to see. But Love Island UK, not a super hot start for me. I'll give it a B+. Okay. Because normally Love Island UK lives in an A for me all the time.
It's gonna get better.
Yeah, definitely. And that is everything I watched.
How about you, Noah?
I didn't watch much this week. Well, actually, I kind of did, but I didn't watch a lot of different things. I watched the entirety of the show Eric on Netflix. It's with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh, I keep seeing that. Yeah.
It's weird. Like, it's very weird. But if you get past the weirdness of it, it actually is, like, pretty good. Because his character is kind of, like, I'd say schizophrenic. Mm-hmm. So there's, like, characters that aren't real. One being, like, he's a puppeteer. That's his job. And so there's this, like, monster whose name is Eric, who, like, he's seeing but doesn't really exist. But it's good. There's only 6 episodes.
It's quick.
I'll give it a B.
Okay.
Solid.
Dark Matter. That's probably my favorite show right now.
That's really good, right? I see people talking about
Yeah,
this.
I think it's really good. I mean, depending on
that's
like what you
on
like.
Apple TV.
Apple TV, Joel Edgerton.
Not to be mistaken.
With
with
Rocket.
Although I'm sure he would be good in it too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it makes you think. Just like the whole multiverse type deal. I'll give that a B+. And then I watched Hitman yesterday.
I really want to watch.
I want to watch that too.
The thing is, it's like I heard mixed reviews. At first, I just heard it was really good, and then I heard people saying like, "Oh, well, like I thought it was great. Like I thought it was good." I think I didn't really know what it was about other than the name, so I actually did think it was like he was a legit hitman. And then so when he wasn't, I was like, "Oh, maybe this is why people are disappointed." But I thought he was great and like cool story. And I don't know her name, but I'm in love with her now.
It's
Um,
she's very like new, and wouldn't say new, but she's gonna be huge.
Adria Arjona.
She could be Adria.
Yeah.
Arjona.
But they had great chemistry, and it was also funny. So I'll give that a B+.
That's a good score. Glenn Powell. People are absolutely loving Glenn Powell these days.
I mean, he got the Twister movie coming out.
I mean, I've seen a lot of articles. Like, he's doing so many profiles, and it's all like the summer of Glenn Powell.
Yeah, people are eating up Glenn Powell.
Yeah. If you could either be Glenn Powell, where you get a whole summer to yourself, or you could be with the rodents.
Thankfully, he's not thrown in with the rodents.
I just recently connected that he was in The Dark Knight, which, like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I had no idea. I'm like, he's been around for so long.
He has been.
I knew I
put
saw
in the work.
I knew I saw her name somewhere too, because apparently she is dating Jason Momoa.
What?
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
That's why I saw like a week ago, it was like Jason Momoa's new girlfriend, Adria, I don't know. It could be.
Damn.
Yeah.
Would you think you had a shot?
No, just like Jason Momoa. Like, how old is he?
Jason Momoa's not as old as you think.
44. He's 12 years older than her. I'm only 4 years younger than her.
Yeah, you
got it,
one
Noah.
and the same.
You and Jason Momoa.
Yeah, I mean, if that's her type, I guess, yeah, I don't have a shot.
Oh man, I want to watch that though.
It's good, yeah.
I'll watch anything Glenn Powell's in
He's
to support
funny.
him.
And it's cool because, like,
he is.
Do you
very
know
funny.
like about like who he plays? Do you know anything about it?
No.
Because he just has to. He basically is a fake hitman, so he tries to like get these people who are trying to hire hitmen arrested. So he plays all these different characters. So it's funny, like ridiculous characters.
Yeah. I've seen. I knew like the premise.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to watch.
Also, I didn't
because
realize
now
that
it's on Netflix.
Richard Linklater was the director.
Yeah. Yep.
But solid movie.
He was stoked about working with him.
Mm-hmm.
He's had this movie in the works for a while. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And I also like when the credits came up, it was written by Richard Linklater and Glenn Powell, which I didn't know that Glenn Powell is.
I saw Glenn talk about how Denzel Washington gave him some
I saw that
advice
too.
where he was like, basically just like, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Like, don't look in other people's lanes. Like, only look at your lane.
Yeah.
Because I guess like when he was starting off, and look at where he is now. You know.
Even just getting advice from Denzel Washington. Like,
Right. That's you know.
Like if you're talking to Denzel,
that's gonna motivate you in any way.
Yep.
But happy for Glenn Powell.
Same.
Good for you, Glenn.
It is the summer of Glenn.
Yeah.
You go, Glenn
Powell. All right.
Pow.
That's everything we watched this week.